Hi, everyone. Welcome back to 100 Days of Nice. And I am getting tired of reading and thinking and talking about COVID-19. So I decided I wanted to talk about sex because sex is something that has been coming up very often in my sessions in the past several weeks. It's still connected to COVID-19 because many couples are unfortunately experiencing physical distance due to the lockdowns and quarantines and all of those things. And so they're trying to navigate what does it look like to have a sexual partner that you literally can't see with your eyes, like in front of you, or touch or feel. So that's what we're going to talk about today using the NICE template. So, the nurturing self talk, you may choose to adopt. You could create whatever you would like. A couple ideas is to state and reaffirm for yourself I am a sensual being, I am a sexual being. The integrity practice can be allowing that to be a journaling prompt or a writing exercise or the prompt for some kind of creative process where you express and decide and define for yourself what that means for you, because there's so many different ways we can be sexual. However, what that means for you, how do you want to be sexual, what does it mean for you to be a sexual being, how do you express your sensuality, focusing on that and allowing that through your creation, whether that is words or art or whatever you helps you express yourself. Use that to define for yourself who you are, who you want to be as a sexual being. Another idea for an integrity practice is to practice open communication with your sexual partner. Ask yourself, how do I want to fulfill my sexual needs during this time? Some people at the individual level, they're like, you know what? We're physically distant. This is the perfect time for me to transmute all of that energy and redirect it somewhere else. I'm going to practice abstinence. I am going to practice celibacy during this time. I don't even want to touch that area. So thank you, ma'am, but no thank you. And if that is you, that is completely okay. That is completely fine. So you're still acknowledging that you are a sexual and sensual being, but you want to redirect that attention and redirect that energy to what? So be very intentional about that so you know where to redirect and flow that attention, that desire, that energy. One very common approach that people use is redirecting that desire and passion to some kind of creative outlet. So think about that, explore that. Some people are like, yeah, abstinence is not going to be for me, and they still want to fulfill those sexual needs. What are you comfortable with? How would you like to do that? What would that look like? How do you want to have those needs met? Think about all of those answers for yourself. Once you have a little bit of clarity about that, and if you are in partnership with someone that you're sexual with, just invite them to reflect on that first, because some people take a little bit more time to process. Other people could answer this question like on the spot, like I don't even need to think about it, I already know. But some people might be like, I didn't never really thought about this. So they might need that time to reflect and do some research on the possibilities, et cetera, et cetera. So allow that space and time if you are partnered with someone that would appreciate that space and time. And then when the two of you come together to have that conversation, then share with each other and ask each other, how do we want to maintain our sexual connection during this time? How do we want to continue to allow our sensuality to thrive in our relationship despite our physical distance? That can look like so many things, so many different things. It can be something where you take advantage of the use of technology and you have sex digitally, right? I still want to encourage safe sex online? What is safe sex online? Pay attention to the software you're using. Pay attention to the methods you're using to share this sensitive information, because the last thing we want is the wrong hands or the wrong eyes, or yeah, getting all up into a very intimate and private moment. So practice safety in the sense of you're ensuring that you're using software that either encrypts the data for you, or you're aware of what the privacy settings are and things along those lines. Like, is this something that you want the other person to be able to save? Is it something that you want to be like a one time visual and then the file kind of destroys itself? Do a little bit of research and figure out, okay, what would be a safe way to be able to transfer this information over. Online isn't the only option. There's also the option of using the good old mailing system, and you can be creative with how you can still be in touch with each other through that means or mechanism. We still have audio, just the good old um, what am I trying to say? Auditory pleasures and sensations that you can consider, and the list goes on. But just think about, okay, what is it that I want to do to maintain? What do we want to do to maintain our connection during this time? I want to jump into the C because compassion is going to be key in this whole entire process. Be compassionate with yourself and your comfort levels, okay? Know what you're comfortable with and have compassion for yourself if what you're comfortable with is not with what your partner is. And also have compassion for your partner. Your partner may not be as comfortable with certain ideas as you are, and have compassion for that too. And remember, you can co create a third alternative. You can co create another option. So maybe maybe one partner is like, I'm just not comfortable with with the visual part. So then maybe you can co-create an alternative of still having an auditory experience with each other, or vice versa. Have compassion and understanding for yourself and your comfort levels and your partners, and allow yourself to look at, okay, what can we co-create with what we are comfortable with. I also want to encourage you compassionately to remember the whole point of this is about building connection. This is not about obligation. This is not about duty. This is about connection. This is about intimacy. So, this is why it's so important for you to do the first step first. Define for yourself what it means to you and how you want to be a sexual being, a sensual being, because then you can operate from that. That could be like your foundation, instead of all of those, well, I should be doing this, or all of these external expectations or voices, or maybe even some pressure from your partner, or hearing what your partner is okay with. Those external messages may make you feel obligated, or feel like I should be okay with this, that, and the third, or I shouldn't be okay with this, that, and the third. So, no, have a lot of compassion for yourself. And remember, the point of this is connection, and we are building that connection. So, how could we build this connection? If the base of it is that, then the outcome could be beneficial, beautiful, fruitful for the relationship. If you're operating from a place of duty and obligation, it can feed resentment and have a negative and detrimental impact on the relationship. So, please keep that in mind. Also, know that what you are okay with and what your partner is not okay with doesn't have to be a deal breaker. So, what I've seen in my practice, so I've been working with this with couples, because I work with a lot of military couples when they go through deployments. Like, they go anywhere from months to up to a year, sometimes over a year, without seeing each other. But many couples still want to be physically close together. Sometimes one partner isn't okay with something that the other partner is, and so the partner that is like, I want to express and fulfill my sexual needs in this way. And this partner is like, I'm not interested in that, but I understand that that is what you want. And, I respect your decision and your desires. So just because you are choosing to express or enjoy your sexuality in a particular way, it does not have to mean that your partner is involved in every expression or experience of your sexuality or sensuality. There are some couples that, when they have partnered together and they've committed themselves to each other, they have made the commitment to each other that they do not want to experience sexuality, whether that is through pornography or masturbation or other partners or other means. They it's like no sexuality outside of our experience of each other. And so that's the rules and norms of some relationships, and that's okay too. So just be aware of what the norms in your relationships are. Be aware of what you're comfortable with, what your partner is comfortable with, and know that there's a difference between our individual needs and the needs of the relationship, and explore and talk about and uncover, okay, how do we want to respond on this? The more intentional we are about it, the more we can ensure that the way that we do end up meeting those needs are ways that build us up and prepare us for healthy relationships, healthy sexual expression. Sometimes when we aren't intentional about it, we end up doing things that we regret or that we are ashamed about. And sometimes when we feel shame about something, we feel bad. And when we're sexual, we tend to feel good in the moment. So then we'll do something, but then we feel bad about how we met that sexual need. So then, and then the cycle just keeps on going. So the way to nip all of that in the bud is be intentional and be open from the beginning, first with yourself, then with your sexual partner. Lastly, for E is emotional intelligence. I want to encourage you to keep note of all of the emotions that come up. What emotions came up as you were hearing me speak in this video right now? What emotions come up as you're exploring the answers to some of these questions for yourself? What emotions come up when you're talking about this with your partner, or the idea of even having this conversation with your partner? Pay attention to those emotions, sit with them, try to understand what they are attempting to reveal to you, and allow those emotions to be another source of intelligence for you. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you appreciated this kind of flip on the nice technique, and I'll see you all soon.